Balatrito. Balatro, Balatre se está jugando a Balatro.
In classical music, there are certain rules that must be followed, most notably during the Classics era. Classical music is built like a mirror. If a composer writes a four-bar melody, called the antecedents or questions, they are obligated to respond with another four-bar melody, the consequence or answer.
We also notice a clear hierarchy in the composition. A main melody on top, easy to sing and remember. A simple accompaniment below that doesn't steal the spotlight. The goal: ensure the listener never gets confused. Clarity is the goal. It is worth mentioning that also every piece must have a center of gravity, the tonic. The composer may drift away from this center to create a slight tension, but they must always return to the home key in a satisfying way. Chords are stable. Dissonances are resolved quickly.
Classical music has many rules, and that is what makes it sound so sweet and smooth. Or at least that was that used to be.
Ludwig van Beethoven, born in 1770 in Bonn, Germany, was a visionary who completely transformed the way music was composed, serving as the bridge between the Classicism and the Romanticism eras.
If classicism was perfectly mown French garden, Beethoven and the by extension Romanticism was the wild forest that grew over it. He didn't just ignore the rules, he rewrote them so that music will stop being mere entertainment and become philosophy and drama.
He created phrases of 5, 7, or 9 bars that broke the rhythmic expectations of the audience. He introduces heavy, tricky textures that sounded dirty or moody to ears of that era. He maintained tension for long periods without giving the listeners a rest, correcting his music with violent accents sforzando, which sounded like physics blows.
Beethoven broke the stigmas and rules of his time. By taking these liberties, his music wasn't always considered correct or pretty back then. However, thanks to these breakthroughs, we now have genres like film scores and rock music, which inherited the same intensity. In life, we will often face obligations and setbacks to follow. But as for individuals, we must examine, judge, and decide for ourselves where to obey those mandates.
To play a note wrong is insignificant, but to play without passion is inexcusable.
Beethoven's rebellion was never about noise or the simple desire to be different. It was a profound redirection of the human spirit through sound. While the classical era treated music as a polished mirror reflecting a balanced world, Beethoven shattered that glass to show us the jagged reality of the soul. He didn't just play random notes to defy tradition, he took the rigid, 4-bar symmetry of his predecessors and stretched it until it burned with tension, forcing the music to go where he commanded, not where the rules dictated. By introducing those dirty textures and violent accents, he proved that music shouldn't just be a pleasant background for a social gathering, it should be a philosophical battlefield. His liberty was the courage to replace pretty patterns with raw, purposeful truth, moving away from mere entertainment toward a visceral, cinematic drama. In doing so, he taught us that true freedom isn't the absence of structure, but the power to redefine that structure to serve a higher passion. Ultimately, Beethoven's legacy reminds us that while playing a wrong note is a technicality, living or creating without a clear, passionate direction is the only true failure.